When you think of San Francisco, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Probably the landmarks, right? The bridge, the cable cars. But to really get this place, you have to see it differently, not as a static place, but as a process. It's a city in constant, restless motion, defined less by what it is and more by what it's always becoming. So, what's the engine driving this endless reinvention? Well, the best way to think about it is with this idea of waves. Just imagine these powerful forces: gold, earthquakes, counterculture, technology, crashing over the city one after another. Each wave completely reshapes the landscape, but it doesn't wash everything away. It leaves new layers behind. And to truly understand the city, you have to see those layers and the incredible forces that created them.
So, to really get where this story of waves kicks off, we have to go way back. I'm talking about the deep past, a time before the gold, before the city we know today even existed.
Just look at the scale of this timeline for a second. For thousands and thousands of years, this was the land of the Ramaytush Olan people. They were the stewards of this region for generations upon generations. Their history, that's the real deep foundation that everything else is built on. The arrival of the Spanish, Mexican rule, even the discovery of gold. As huge as those events were, they were really just blips in a much, much longer story.
Under both Spain and then Mexico, this place was basically the edge of the map, a remote frontier. The Spanish set up Mission Dolores and the Presidio, and yeah, those were the first physical footprints of the city to come, but it was really far from the centers of power and pretty much overlooked.
Back then, the settlement was called Yerba Buena. It was just this quiet little trading post. It had an incredible natural harbor, perfectly positioned for, well, something. But it was still just waiting for its moment. And in 1848, oh boy, that moment arrived with a bang.
And this brings us to the first, and you could argue the most dramatic wave of change, the gold rush. This is where San Francisco's personality was literally forged in fire and ambition.
Okay, so in 1848, Yerba Buena was a village of about 800 people. Think about that. A tiny, sleepy little settlement on the edge of a continent. Now, get that number in your head, 800. Because just 1 year later, it was this. 25,000 people. That's not growth, people. That is an explosion. The discovery of gold turned this sleepy port into a chaotic, buzzing, global boomtown almost overnight.
All that initial chaos, it kind of baked a certain DNA into the city's bones. It became a global city in an instant, pulling in ambitious fortune seekers from every corner of the earth. It learned to thrive on chaos, to be unpredictable, and to constantly reinvent itself. And that core identity, forged way back in 1849, is still a huge part of San Francisco today. But that DNA of reinvention, it was about to face its biggest test yet, with a wave of pure destruction. In 1906, a monster earthquake and the fires that followed just wiped out more than 80% of the city. For almost any other place, that would have been the end of the story. But this is San Francisco we're talking about. And this just says it all about the city's spirit. Just 9 years later, in 1915, San Francisco hosts this huge World's Fair. It was like a phoenix rising from the ashes, a defiant statement to the entire globe that said, we're not just rebuilt, we are reborn, and we're more ambitious than ever.
Okay, so the next major wave wasn't about gold, and it wasn't about rebuilding. It was about ideas. In the middle of the 20th century, San Francisco completely transformed into a capital for counterculture and massive social change. The city basically became a magnet for anyone who wanted to live differently. You had the beat riders in North Beach challenging conformity, then you had the Summer of Love blooming in the Haight-Ashbury. It became this incredible epicenter for new music, art, and really powerful social movements. It was a place where expressing yourself wasn't just, tolerated, it was celebrated.
And that whole culture of openness, it also made the city a true pioneer in the LGBTQ+ rights movement. Neighborhoods like the Castro became these powerful symbols of community, of activism, and of the fight for basic rights. And that ended up influencing the conversation all across the country. Which brings us to the most recent wave, and this one feels, well, strangely familiar. The rise of Silicon Valley brought a whole new kind of boom to the city, a modern-day gold rush, if you will. This is where you can just see history echoing itself. The first rush was fueled by gold dug from the earth. This new one is fueled by ideas, by code and data. Both of them drew ambitious talent from all over the world, both created incredible wealth, and yeah, both kicked up new social tensions, battles over affordability, gentrification, and the very soul of the city. The pattern is it's undeniable.
So when you start to put all these different waves together, what you begin to see is the city's true, enduring identity. It's a place that's defined by the fact that it is always, always in motion.
See, San Francisco isn't just one thing. It's a city of layers. You've got the deep, foundational history of indigenous stewardship, then the layer of colonial foundations. On top of that, the wild ambition of the gold rush, followed by the cultural revolution of the 60s, and now the technological reinvention of today. Each wave just added a new layer without totally washing away what came before it.
And that's really the heart of it all. The city's true character is change. Trying to pin it down, to say this is what San Francisco is, well, that misses the whole point. The fact that it's always in a state of becoming something new, that's what makes it so fascinating.
It's this absolute economic powerhouse. So what's really driving it? What makes this city tick? Well, that's exactly what we're going to unpack today. The complex, sometimes messy, and always fascinating economy of this iconic city.
And this quote, this just nails it. The economy here isn't built on things you can, hold in your hand, like factory goods or old school finance. It's built on something you can't really touch. Ideas, ambition, and this constant, restless reinvention of what's next. It's all about that forward momentum.
Okay, so to really get a grip on all this, we're going to look at it through a specific lens, what we're calling the layered ecosystem. Seriously, picture a rainforest. You've got this huge, dominant canopy at the top, but then there's all this diverse life happening in the undergrowth below, and everything is interconnected. That's San Francisco's economy in a nutshell.
So let's start where you'd expect, right at the very top. We're talking about that massive, influential layer that everyone sees first, the tech canopy that has come to define modern San Francisco.
And if you want to see this change in real time, all you have to do is take a walk through Soma, south of Market. This area used to be all warehouses and industrial buildings. Now, it's pretty much the global epicenter of tech. It has completely redrawn the map of the city, both physically and economically.
I mean, look at this. It's a direct swap. The old world of warehouses and shipping gave way to this incredibly dense cluster of startup hubs, co-working spaces, and massive tech HQs. It's the kind of place where you can't even grab a coffee without overhearing a pitch for the next big thing.
So, what's actually holding this whole tech canopy up? Well, you've got the obvious stuff. Software, social media, all the cutting-edge work in fintech and AI. But the real engine, the thing that makes it all go, it's venture capital, VC money. It's the rocket fuel here. It takes these high-risk, high-reward ideas and just launches them into the stratosphere.
And this right here, this quote, gets at the culture, the mindset behind it all. This comfort with risk, that's the city's secret sauce. In San Francisco, failure isn't the end of the road, not at all. It's just data. It's treated as a stepping stone, which creates this unique environment where really wild, radical ideas have a chance to actually take off.
But if you only look at the tech canopy, you're missing most of the forest. So let's head down into that diverse undergrowth, because that's where you find the stuff that makes the whole ecosystem so much more resilient.
Yeah, check this out. It shows you right away that while tech is huge, it's not the only thing going on. The city's economy is not a one-trick pony. Just look at these other massive sectors. You've got tourism and hospitality, a huge piece of the pie. Then there's financial services, and this absolutely booming biotech scene. Every single one of these plays a crucial role.
Let's dive a little deeper into a few of these, because together, they're what give the city its economic balance and, honestly, its unique vibe. We're talking about a huge number of jobs here that have nothing to do with software or venture capital.
Take Mission Bay, for example. It's maybe not as flashy as the latest social media app, but what's happening here is incredibly important. It's become this major hub for biotech and life sciences, powered by some of the best research institutions in the world. The innovation here is all about genomics, medicine, literally the future of our health.
And, of course, you absolutely cannot forget about tourism. It's one of the oldest and strongest pillars of the city's economy. Think about it. Tens of thousands of jobs in hotels, restaurants, shops, they all rely on it. This is the industry that supports so many small businesses and keeps that vibrant global image of San Francisco alive.
Okay, but this thriving, super dynamic ecosystem, it comes with a price tag.
And that cost, well, it's felt most sharply by the very people who live and work there every day. This chart really lays out the fundamental tension of living in San Francisco. On one hand, you have this incredible promise, right? World-class opportunities, this amazing culture that pulls in talent from everywhere. But on the other side of the coin, you've got this immense pressure, a cost of living that is just off the charts, huge gaps between the rich and poor, and people who have lived there for generations being pushed out. And that disparity, it is just glaring. The gap between a top earner in tech and, say, one of the essential service workers who actually keeps the city functioning, it's enormous. It really goes to show that while the opportunity in San Francisco is very real, it is nowhere near evenly spread out. And right at the heart of all this tension is housing. The skyrocketing rents, the insane lack of supply, it hits everybody. It makes it harder for companies to hire people, harder for families to just stay in their homes. It really just pulls at the seams of the city's social fabric.
Which brings us to the million-dollar question, really. How does a city like San Francisco even begin to manage the side effects of its own success? I mean, there are no easy answers here, and figuring that out is probably the defining challenge for the city's future.
And speaking of the future, it's already being shaped by powerful new forces. Because this ecosystem, well, it's always in motion. It's always changing. The biggest change we've seen lately? Of course, it's the shift to remote and hybrid work. You can think of this as a brand new pressure on the ecosystem. The foot traffic downtown is all over the place, companies are totally rethinking what to do with their office space, and all those small businesses, the cafes, the lunch spots that depended on commuters, they're scrambling to adapt. The whole rhythm of the city just feels different now.
So, what does this all mean for the future? Is this new reality going to break the very economic model that made San Francisco such a powerhouse? Or will it just force the city to do what it's always done best? Adapt and evolve.
San Francisco's economy has never been a sure, stable thing. It's always been kind of volatile, kind of experimental. But you know what? That's its greatest strength. It survived gold rushes, earthquakes, dot-com busts, and tech booms. The city endures because it doesn't fight change, it leans into it. It succeeds because it gives people the room to dream up and then actually build whatever's coming next.
So when you think of San Francisco, what pops into your head? It's probably the big ones, right? That huge red bridge, the cable cars climbing those impossibly steep hills. And look, those images are famous for a reason. But today, we're going to go beyond the postcard. We're going to peel back the layers and really get into what makes this city, well, this city.
And that quote, that's pretty much our roadmap for today. It's not just about seeing the sights. It's about peeling back those layers to find what really gives the city its soul. It's all about discovery. And this lays it out perfectly. On the left, you've got the tourist checklist, the stuff you feel like you have to see. But on the right, that's where we're headed. We're diving into that patchwork of neighborhoods, the unique little microcultures, and the everyday rituals. That's where the real story of San Francisco is hiding. All right, so let's tackle that first layer, the icons. But we're not just checking boxes here. We're going to experience them in a way that feels less like you're a tourist and more like you're making a real discovery.
First up, of course, the Golden Gate Bridge. And let's just get this out of the way. It absolutely 100% lives up to the hype. I mean, seeing it slice through that famous fog, it's just one of those moments that really sticks with you.
But how you see it makes all the difference. For that classic, dramatic, movie poster shot, you want to go to Battery Spencer. For a more peaceful, ground-level vibe, Crissy Field is your spot. But you know what the real game changer is? Getting on the bridge itself. You gotta walk it or bike across it. Feeling the wind, seeing the sheer scale of the thing up close, that's an experience you just can't get from a viewpoint. And seriously, that tip about layers, that's not a suggestion. It's the golden rule for surviving San Francisco's crazy microclimates.
Okay, next up, Alcatraz. And you might be thinking, it's just an old prison, right? But it's so much more than that. The real experience here is all about what you hear. It's the stories that literally echo through those cell blocks.
Okay, here's the deal, and this is non-negotiable. You have to do the audio tour. It's narrated by actual former inmates and guards. It completely transforms the visit from just looking at old cells into this incredibly immersive and honestly kind of chilling experience. And I can't stress this enough, book your tickets weeks, if not months ahead. They sell out for a very, very good reason.
All right, to wrap up the classics, here are 2 lightning round tips. For the cable cars, the Powell Hyde line has the absolute best views. But for the love of all that is holy, go early in the morning or late at night. Otherwise, you'll be stuck in a 2-hour line. And Lombard Street?
Think of it as a fun 5-minute photo op. Definitely walk it, don't even think about driving it, and just enjoy how wonderfully weird it is. Okay, so we've seen the big-ticket items, but we've seen it the right way. Now it's time to peel back that next layer and dive into the city's soul, its neighborhoods. This right here is where you find the real San Francisco. We're starting in the Mission District. Man, this place is just electric. It's the vibrant, beating heart of the city. You've got incredible street art, a ton of activism, and some of the best food you'll ever eat, all while holding on so tightly to its deep Latinx roots. And this is what makes the Mission so special. You see, the murals in places like Clarion Alley, they're not just pretty pictures. They are powerful statements of cultural pride and activism. In Mission Dolores Park, it's not just a patch of grass. On a sunny day, it is the city's collective backyard, just buzzing with this amazing communal energy. It's a neighborhood that just pulls you right in.
From the Mission, let's head over to North Beach. This neighborhood has this really cool split personality. On one hand, it's the historic center of the city's Italian-American community, and on the other, it's the legendary home of the Beat Generation poets. To really get North Beach, you have to embrace both sides. Absolutely go to City Lights bookstore. It's a living piece of American literature. But after that, honestly, the best advice I can give you is to put the map away. Just wander. Let yourself get lost. Discover some hidden-away cafe or an old-school bakery. That's the real spirit of North Beach. And that's just scratching the surface. The diversity here is just staggering. You can step through the Dragon Gate and suddenly you're in the bustling, historic world of Chinatown. Then go celebrate powerful LGBTQ+ history and pride in the Castro. You can feel the echoes of the Summer of Love in Haight-Ashbury, or marvel at the incredible mansions in Pacific Heights. It's amazing. Each neighborhood feels like a completely different city.
Okay, now for a layer of the city that surprises a lot of people. You think of it as this dense urban place, right? But San Francisco has this incredible wild side, and it's woven right into the city itself. Get this. Just let it sink in. Golden Gate Park, the city's main green space, is actually bigger than Central Park in New York. Yeah, no joke. It's this massive, sprawling escape right in the middle of everything.
And you've got options, depending on the vibe you're going for. Golden Gate Park is a universe of its own. It's got world-class museums, beautiful gardens, quiet little trails. The Presidio mixes old military history with those picture-perfect bridge views. But for a truly wild feeling, hike the coastal trails at Land's End. You will literally feel like you're standing at the edge of the continent.
So we've covered the what and the where, the icons, the neighborhoods, the nature. Now for the final layer, the how. This is the practical advice that ties it all together and helps you explore the city like a pro.
Think of this as your personal cheat sheet. The city's actually pretty small, so use public transit and walk everywhere. Just make sure your shoes are ready for some serious hills. And I'm going to say it again, layers. It's not a suggestion, it's the law. You can feel 3 different seasons in one afternoon here. Just being smart about your timing and, being aware of your surroundings, it'll make your whole trip so much better.
And this brings us right back to the most important layer of all. After you've made your plans and checked your lists, please remember this. The real magic of San Francisco happens between the landmarks. It's in that unexpected view down a super steep alley, the random chat you have with a barista, the moment you get wonderfully, completely lost.
All right, so you've got one day in San Francisco. You want to make it count, right? Today, we're diving into an expert-designed itinerary that helps you do exactly that.
I mean, that's the ultimate challenge, isn't it? San Francisco is this huge, amazing city packed with hills, history, and so many different neighborhoods. Trying to cram it all into 24 hours, it can feel totally impossible. But what if there was a way to get the real spirit of the city without running around like crazy?
Well, that is exactly where this itinerary comes in. See, it's not about checking off every single tourist spot. It's about experiencing the right things in a way that actually makes sense. Think of it less like a to-do list and more like a story that unfolds as you move through the city. Okay, so our day begins where any great day should, in the morning light. We're going to start right on the famous waterfront to soak in those incredible views from the get-go.
Here's a quick peek at our game plan. We'll kick things off with those iconic bay views, then dive into the cultural heart of some cool neighborhoods, find some green space in the afternoon to recharge and wrap it all up with a great local dinner. It's all about that flow and balance.
So, the plan, very wisely, has us starting at the ferry building. And this isn't just some boring transit hub, it is an experience. You've got these stunning views of the Bay Bridge, you can see the ferries gliding by. It's the perfect spot to grab a coffee and just immediately connect with the water and the light that really define this city.
From the ferry building, we're going to take a really simple, flat, and just beautiful walk north along the Embarcadero. This stretch is fantastic. You got the city skyline on one side, the bay on the other. It's pretty much the perfect visual introduction to San Francisco.
Eventually, you'll get to Pier 39, which is of course home to the famous sea lions. Now here's some key expert advice. Keep this stop efficient. Pier 39 is a huge tourist spot, so yeah, go see the sea lions. They're genuinely awesome, but don't get stuck there. Think of it as a quick, must-do SF moment before we head inland.
And this right here, this is our first major vibe shift. We're leaving the super tourist-heavy Fisherman's Wharf area and walking just a few blocks inland to North Beach, the city's historic Italian neighborhood. And trust me, you will feel the change immediately. The crowds thin out, and suddenly it's all about local cafes, bookstores, and culture. All right, let's jump into the afternoon. This part of the day is all about digging a little deeper into the city's diverse character, from incredible street art to massive, beautiful parks. Next up, we are hopping on some public transit and heading to the Mission District for lunch. And honestly, this is a non-negotiable San Francisco experience. You gotta grab a burrito, then take a walk through Clarion or Balmy Alley to see these incredible, vibrant murals that cover the walls. And we'll finish up at Mission Dolores Park, which, on a sunny day, has one of the best skyline views and local scenes in the entire city. Okay, so after all that energy in the Mission, it's time for a bit of a change of pace. We're off to Golden Gate Park. The thing is, this park is huge. I'm talking larger than New York Central Park. So how do you even begin to tackle it without getting totally lost or exhausted?
Well, the smart approach is to just pick one thing. Are you in the mood for art? Check out the D. Young Museum. More of a science person? The Academy of Sciences is right there. Or maybe you just want to wander through the gardens and around the lakes. The goal isn't to see everything. It's to give your brain a little reset, surrounded by nature.
And now for the main event. As that afternoon light starts to get all soft and golden, we head over to the Presidio and walk along Crissy Field. This is, hands down, one of the best ways to experience the Golden Gate Bridge. It's not just some viewpoint you drive up to. The bridge slowly reveals itself, perfectly framed by the bay and the hills. It just feels so grand and natural, totally unforgettable.
And as the sun goes down, the last part of our day is all about settling in and enjoying the evening like a local, with a choice that really fits your personal style.
So, it's time to choose your own adventure for dinner. You want that classic old-world Italian feel? Head back to North Beach. Still craving that vibrant energy and amazing food? The Mission is your spot. Or if you want something a little more modern and polished, there's Hayes Valley. The choice is all yours.
I absolutely love this thought on how to end the day. The point is not to rush off to another big attraction. The perfect way to end a day in San Francisco is just to soak in the atmosphere. Grab a quiet drink, take a stroll through a neighborhood as it starts to light up. It's about feeling the city, not just seeing more of it.
Now, for those of you who are lucky enough to have more than just one day, the source gives some fantastic ideas for what's waiting just beyond the city itself.
I mean, the diversity of the region is just incredible. You can go right across the bridge and find the coastal calm of Sausalito and the giant redwood trees. A short drive north and you're in world-class wine country. Head south and you've got the dramatic cliffs of the Pacific Coast, or you can go check out the heart of innovation in Silicon Valley.
And this is a really important point. These aren't just random day trips. Exploring the redwoods or the vineyards or the coastline gives you this much richer context for Northern California and all the things that have shaped the city itself. They really do complete the picture.